Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa and this is Melissa Knits for Fun. Well, this is the third episode in my series of my stash tour by brand, but today I'm not really doing a brand, I'm doing a category of yarn, and that is Deadstock yarns. And if you don't know what Deadstock yarns are, it is yarns that come from the fashion industry or from the, I don't know what you'd call them, fabric houses, yarn houses, I don't know what you'd call them, that provide the yarn to the fashion industry to make the patterns and the garments and all the things that they do. And my understanding is that those places have like really large quantities of yarn in specific colors, whatever the colors are for that year, etc., because when a fashion house calls them, they need to be able to provide the yarn right away. They're not going to wait for you to dye it and spin it and do all of those things. So there's a lot of yarn that would normally end up in a landfill, but instead companies buy the yarn from these places that provide it. They buy the stuff that's left over and they get it at a really good deal, and then they pass the good deal on to us, and we are able to buy just specific quantities of it or an entire cone. There's several places that you can get it, and I will talk about that a little bit as we go into this. But I wanted to just spend a few minutes explaining what Deadstock was, and what it means is this right here, once it's gone, it's gone. They're not going to do a reorder, and you're not going to be able to buy more of this later. So with Deadstock yarns, it is really, really important that you get the amount of yarn for whatever project it is that you're going to do, or if you don't have a project in mind, that you get enough to where that you could do, if you are like me and you normally only do garments, well, when I am buying, if I don't have a specific plan in place, I will usually buy enough to where if I decided to do a cabled sweater, which is what's going to take the most amount of yardage, I will buy to where that I could do a cabled sweater if I wanted to. So that's how I handle my Deadstock. Now, I have 3 companies here that I'm going to talk about that I have bought from. There are other companies that do offer Deadstock yarns. I have not bought from them, and I will tell you the ones that I know of. But I am going to talk about 3 today. I'm going to talk about, this is woolly yarn. I'm going to talk about Color Mart, and I'm going to talk about Cone and Fiber, or it used to be known as Good Yarn, and they are here in the Portland, Oregon, United States area. So I'm going to start with those, and I'm going to start with the one that I have the least of, which I believe, and I won't swear to this, but I believe it's Color Mart. But I'm going to look really quick. It's either Color Mart or Cone and Fiber. I know that the most that I have from came from woolly yarn. And I will tell y'all about each company as I get to them. And I'm going to pause for just a second. We're going to see how good I am at coming back to the same place that I am at right now, or how good I get at editing to where that I can splice these together without you noticing a lot of difference in it. I'm trying to get better at my editing skills. So I'll be right back with either Cone and Fiber or Color Mart, depending on which one I have the least of. Well, that'll teach me not to count before I start recording, because guess what? I have the same amount. I have 4 different types of yarn from each place. So I just went ahead and decided that I would go ahead and do Color Mart because they're the very first Deadstock company that I ever ordered from. And so I just thought that I'd give them a shout out first. Color Mart is over in the UK. They do ship, I believe, worldwide. I know they ship to the United States. All of these places ship to the United States. That's where I'm located. And so Color Mart, I will tell you, I don't buy more from them because it is so hard for me to figure out their website. I just have not had a ton of luck figuring out how to navigate their website. They do have some absolutely beautiful yarns, and I do have some that I want to order from there that are merino and angora. I just have not pulled the trigger yet. But I do have 4 yarns, and I think this brown and white one I only have 1 of, but I believe that I have 2 of each cones of these other ones. And so I also wanted to do Color Mart first, because I will tell you they are the best labeled. They actually have a little label in here that tells you, number 1, that it is from Color Mart, but they tell you what it is. And this one right here, this brown and white marled colorway, is a 4-ply Angora Merino mix. And it is a, trying to see if it tells me the percentage. Yes, it is 25% Angora, 63% merino, and then it says 12% other. I don't know what other is, maybe some polyamide or something as a binder. It is really, really pretty. It also tells me that there's 1,200 meters on here and that the weight of this cone is 150 grams. And it tells me, let's see if it gives me a colorway. Moulin, maybe? So I'm not sure if that's the color or if that's the, name of the yarn. Anyway, doesn't really matter. It's a really pretty deep dark chocolate brown, and I actually have a plan for this. There is a sweater, and I can't remember who makes it, but it's really pretty, and it kind of does this whole like fading thing where you have like a lighter color and then it goes into a marled of the two colors and then a darker color, and they are brown and white. And so I got this and I got this to do that. So I thought this would be the white part, then I would transition and use this, and then I would go into a dark brown that I already had. So this one here, this is a cashmere merino. So 70% merino, 30% cashmere. It is really, really soft. I wish that you could reach through here and feel these, but I will be honest, I would not have immediately gone to cashmere. It really does feel kind of cottony to me, but that's probably because there's spinning oils on here. And so this is a DK weight. This one I will have to hold double in order to achieve the other two that I've got are DK, and the pattern calls for a DK. And like I said, it is a cashmere merino. It's 430 meters per cone. I do have 2 of these cones, and each cone weighs 150 grams. And it's Crudo is the name of the color. So they do really, really put nice labels in so I am able to see exactly what it is. This one here is a cashmere wool, 90% wool, 10% cashmere. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful royal blue, electric blue. The colorway name is, I don't know, it was a half price sale. It does tell me through November the 5th, which I think was a couple of years ago, not last year. There's 930 meters, so on 150 grams. This is a 4-ply. It is a little bit thinner, I think, than a regular 4-ply. I might have to hold it double, but I don't know. I may or may not. I might hold it with something else. I have some, what's it called? Some Mohair, but there's also some cashmere prime that maybe I'll pull the trigger and buy some of that and buy that color and hold it, but we'll see. But this is, it does not tell me what the colorway is. It just tells me all of that. There's no color on this. So it is just a beautiful cashmere merino blend. And then this one here is a baby Surrey alpaca merino. It was also a half price sale. And they do run really great sales there. They do half price sales. They do 3 for 2 cones. They do all kinds of sales. So if you can figure it out, there are some really great deals. And I do think it is better on a computer than it is on mobile. But I'm still trying to figure it out. These are all of the ones that I have from here. Obviously, I have figured out woolly yarn. And so this one is a half price sale. This is 570 meters per 150 grams. So it is a fingering weight. And it is a, it just says baby alpaca merino, but it does not tell me. Yeah, it does. It's 40% alpaca, 60% merino. And this is more of a true fingering weight. So it is beautiful. I'm going to make a sweater out of this. I've got 2 cones of it. Not sure. I probably will not hold anything with it because it's got merino in it. But that's what that's going to be. All right, next up, and I am just going to turn around and grab them instead of pausing because there's only 4 cones and they're sitting right here. So I will show you these. And one of them, I did bring both of them because I wanted to show you how you can get them. All right, so this is from Cone and Fiber, and they are out of Portland, Oregon. They used to be known as Good Yarn US. And they do the Deadstock yarns as well with all of the, well, not with all of them, because Color Mart actually has specific cone weights, right? They have, it's a 150 gram cone. Woolly Yarn and Good Yarn, or Cone and Fiber, allow you to pick the amount that you want and they spin it off for you. Well, with Good Yarn, or I'm sorry, I need to stop calling them that. Their new name is Cone and Fiber. With Cone and Fiber, they allow you to split it. Each one of these cones is 50 cents. So the cones on this were $1. But this, I don't remember exactly what it is, but I think it's a wool cotton. I think it's a wool cotton. And just look at that beautiful deep dark burgundy. Now, Cone and Fiber is on Shop. So I am able to go see what I bought on Shop with these, which is really, really nice. I went and made sure that I had gotten all of that before I recorded. And I believe that this is a wool cotton, but here's the thing. There is nothing in there. It doesn't tell me anything, so I do have to go back and look at my past orders to figure out what I bought. And I do know that since I bought them in 2 cones, I was planning on holding them together because it is absolutely a lace weight. So I will have to hold 2 of these together, and then I will do something with it. It's just a stunning, stunning color. Then I got this one that I believe is some kind of a silk blend. I went and looked, and I believe that's what it is. I don't know what else it has in it because it's a little stretchy. So I don't know if it's because it's a chainette. It looks a bit like a chainette, or if it's there's something else in it. But I do know that this is silk, and it is, the color is milky, and it really is. I think I only have 1 cone of this. Well, in fact, I know I only have 1 cone of this. And I don't even remember how much I ordered because it's not in here. Now, I will tell you, these were my first 2 orders from them. My last order, or yeah, I think I ordered both of these on the last order. They have actually gotten a lot better, and I'm assuming that they're doing this from now on. I now have labels in there. It tells me what they are. And this one has the label from the factory as well that tells me that it's Cash Kid. It's 10% kid mohair, 20% cashmere, 55% merino, and 15% silk. And then on the Cone and Fiber, when it tells me all of that, it tells me who it was, and it was G&G Filati, and that's an Italian house. It tells me it was 11 cents per gram, so $11 per 100. And it is 10% wool. Well, it's exactly what I told you. It was the 10% kid mohair, etc. So it tells me that, and then it also tells me that it is blueberry tweed. And guys, I wish you could feel this. It's really, really soft. And then this last one, oh, I could not resist this. This color is just, it is one of my colors. This deep, dark, rich green. And this is also, this is a Shetland. I knew that. I mean, I don't even have to look at it. But it is, I believe, 100% Shetland. Yep, 100% Shetland wool. It is Art Athena from, I don't know, I can't pronounce that name, but it was 8 cents a gram, or $8 for 100 grams. And I got 440 grams. So it cost me, whatever that is, like $26 or something. And, or no, I'm sorry. I'm lying to you. It is 440 meters per 100 grams. It does not tell me on here how much I got. So I don't remember, but I do think this was around $26 or $27. I think I got 400 grams or so. And this is enough to do a sweater, of course, which I will do. This is beautiful. This is going to be just maybe a cabled sweater, maybe not, but it is going to be something that's going to let this yarn shine. All right. And the colorway of this is Pine Depths. And boy, it does look like pine. All right. This time I am going to pause. All right. I am back, and this time it's Woolly Yarn's turn. And Woolly Yarn is a Deadstock company out of Lithuania, and they have a huge storefront, and they have so many yarns, and they do ship worldwide. I don't find their shipping particularly prohibitive because you do save so much money on the yarn. So, but you know what I find super expensive on shipping is, or don't find super expensive on shipping, maybe somebody else might be going, ooh, that's too much for me. You're the only one that can decide whether the shipping is worth it or not. But they do ship worldwide, and they use FedEx, I believe it is. So I thought that I would show y'all. I only have one sweater that I've used any of the Deadstock yarns that's complete. I do have another one that's in progress, but I thought I would show you this. And if y'all watch my podcast for very long, you've seen this last year. It was one of my test knits, and I've completely lost the name. I knew it. But it's by A Pearl Can Dream. And so I will put up here the name of the pattern and the designer and everything. But this is the Deadstock yarn that I used, was the mohair part of this. And I do have another one. I have another full cone of it. And so it was this red color. I had two of them because I love this color. And I bought them at 2 different times. But it is just beautiful. It's mohair. It's just like any other mohair. And so it's soft, it's squishy, it feels like mohair, it works up like mohair. I think it's about the same softness as like a Knitting for Olive. I don't know if it's as soft as a Sayer or Filcolana, but it is, I think, as soft as Knitting for Olive. So that is my one that I have completed, and I do wear this quite a bit. It is the one that I have completed out of Deadstock yarns, and I will tell you, I don't see any, well, I do. I started to say I don't see any pills, but I do see a few pills here. So it's just like the Knitting for Olive, where it pills just a little bit. All right, now I do have 13 cones of mohair to show you, which is why I decided I'd do this in 2 parts. I'll show you mohair, and then I'll show you everything else, because I have a lot of mohair. When they got in the regular mohair, the 70-30 blend, I lost my mind, and I bought a bunch of it. But, I bought a bunch of it because it was a really, really great deal. I will tell you, it was a lot less expensive than Knitting for Olive. But obviously, it does not mean that I had to stop buying mohair that comes in balls, because you saw I had a lot of mohair from Knitting for Olive. If you watched my Knitting for Olive, the second part of this series, I also have some I'll be doing Sandus Garn next. I thought I would do like a cone, a regular, a cone, a regular, and then a miscellaneous cones, because then I'll be done. And then I'll just do some other brands. But I have mohair from Sandus Garn. I have mohair from everybody. I have mohair. So this did not stop me from buying balls of mohair. But I did buy these. They're beautiful, beautiful colors. And so I'm just going to show you now. I will tell you, this, provided that Conan Fiber is going to continue the labeling. I'm sorry, anytime I bring out mohair, my nose just itches because the mohair flies everywhere. Provided that that Conan Fiber is going to continue labeling like they did the Athena, the Shetland, and the Cash Kid, then this right here will be the worst labeled of them all, because all you get is a little number right there. If they still have it in stock on their website, it's fantastic, because I can just go and look and find it and see what colorway it is and all that. Well, I have since tried to document all of these on Ravelry so that I have the real name and content and all that. But some of them are gone, and they're dead stocks. Now that they've updated, and I will tell you, I can't even go back and look at my previous orders. I used to be able to go back and look at all of my previous orders, but they've been doing some website updates. I think their website is probably the easiest one to navigate, but they've been doing a lot of updates, and so like I don't have access to all of my orders anymore. And some of the dead stock yarns that are out of stock are still showing up to where you can see what it was, and some of them you just cannot find. So that's hit or miss. So luckily I don't care too much, because I'm just going to grab some and I'm going to pair it up. And actually I have another one that's just a little bit lighter than this. I'm not going to go get it, but I did forget. I had paired it, and it's in a bag with one of Letha's hand dyes that I'm going to pair up to do the Esther sweater by Petite Knit. And it's just slightly lighter than this. This is a really, really pale gray. I don't know what the colorway name is, but these are all 70-30 mohairs, and this is just a really pretty pale gray. This is red, And I did have two. Like I said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, my nose. I did have two of these. I do have a little bit left over from doing that sweater. And then I have this whole cone. I'm going to hold this with some Drops Flora to make the Cargill sweater by Rebecca Clow. Then I have this really, really, really pretty color. And I actually have, and I'll go ahead and grab this. These two go together. They're the same colorway. I'll talk about this one in a minute, but this is what I'm going to hold together. And I'm going to hold these together as the base of the rosy cardigan. Or not cardigan, but the rosy sweater, and then I'm going to do the whole scarn red with it. I believe that that's what this is going to become. Plans are always subject to change. But this is a really, really pretty, like, creamy white color. I think that the net colorway name, if I'm remembering right, was like Marshmallow. Then here's a really, really pretty green. It's not a super deep dark green. Well, I can't reach that one now. It's not a super deep dark green. It is a darker green than just like green, but because of the fact that the silk core has not been dyed, it's not as deep as it would be just by looking at the mohair. The mohair is a nice deep dark rich color, but the silk core is not dyed. I will tell you, I don't love that. I like it when the silk core is dyed. They didn't have that for a while. They now do have some that the silk core is dyed, and so I've picked some of those up. But we're going to go back to the ones that I bought at the beginning, and these silk cores just are not dyed. This one's a beautiful turquoise color. I am still trying to find a yarn that exactly matches this, or close enough to exactly matches this. I really, really, really want a sweater out of this, and I really want it to be true to color. I really want it to stay this color. So I have been trying to find some. If you know of a yarn that is this color, like a merino or a Shetland or anything like that that really is this color, let me know and I will go research it, because I'm looking for something to hold this with. Then this one I'm going to hold with my Whole Scarn Tides Orchid. And I have a sweater plan for it. I don't remember which one, but I do have a plan. I've got it in my queue. And it is almost a perfect match to the Tides Orchid. It is just stunning. And if you do watch my podcast, you might have seen this sitting up there on top of the orchid behind me on my wall of yarn. Then there is this really pretty purple. I have two skeins of this, or 2 cones of this. I have a couple of cones of several of these, but I just didn't bring them all in here because I found it redundant. But I've got a couple of cones of this. This is a really pretty purple color. I am going to hold one of them with Drops Alpaca to make the Arrow sweater. I am almost done with my Arrow tee, and I'm going to make an Arrow sweater, and I'm going to hold Drops Alpaca has a purple that almost exactly matches this. And then I bought this thinking, these next two I bought trying to find that Filcolana Tilia color to hold with the dark brown that I'm going to do a pattern with. And I just couldn't. So this will be held with something else. I'm still trying to decide what I'm holding this with. And then this one as well. And this one is it's a really pretty dark blue, but it's not quite navy. So this is kind of a tealy color, and I am again looking for something to hold that with. And then they got the ones where the silk core is dyed. Oh my gosh, my heart went pitter-pat. Look at this deep, dark, rich chocolate brown. And I think I have 3 cones of this color. I love this color. One of them I am going to hold double, and I'm going to do it's a Rowan pattern. I'm going to hold it double, and the contrast is going to be that Filcolana Tilia in that really pretty teal color. And so that's the plan for 2 of them. And then the other one I'm going to hold with some kind of brown yarn in order to get some fluff on it. This is just, oh, I love this color. Chocolate brown is one of my favorite. I actually had originally thought that maybe I would hold these two together, but this was repurposed for something else. So I will find a yarn to hold with this. I have some whole scoring that I could hold it with, but I'm sure I can find some other yarn as well. We'll see. I will know the yarn when I find it. Then look at this navy blue. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that absolutely stunningly gorgeous? I think that this will go with the Mariner really, really well, the whole scarn Mariner, and that's probably what I will hold it with. And it will be something like a Monday sweater or a Lento or a, you know, just a pretty basic, maybe a V-neck, but something fairly basic to where that the yarn shines. And then here is another blue that is a dark blue, but it's not a navy blue, right? And it's not a teal blue. So oh, sorry, that was green. It is not a teal blue. It is a more pure blue, not quite denim, but a little bit darker than denim. And I do have some plans for this. There are some back here. Sorry, I can't find them right this second. Well, yeah, I can because it's right there. I may wind up holding these two together. Maybe not, because this one's a little bit more electric than this. But this is another one of those where I will know it whenever I find it. But this is just a really pretty blue. Like I said, I don't have the colorways of these because there's no information. And then last but not least is this beautiful, beautiful burgundy. This really does remind me a lot of Bordeaux by Knitting for Olive. And in my opinion, you can never get too much of that colorway. So I got this. Don't know if I will get another one, but who knows? Maybe. And there is another one that's a really deep purple, and it is hiding in one of my project bags somewhere. It's a deep grape color. All right, and that's it for the mohairs. And now I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna bring the rest of them down here and I will show you the rest of my cones from woolly yarn. All right, now to kick us off with all of the rest of the fibers, I brought out the one that I'm working on currently, and this is a beautiful, beautiful Book Club raglan, and I'm so sorry about the lighting there with that light coming right down, but this is the Book Club raglan by Sari Nordland, and I am using a 100% merino, which is a Deadstock. I got 700 grams of this. I told you if I don't have a plan, I try to get enough to do a cabled sweater. This is plenty to do a cabled sweater and to have some left over, so who knows, maybe I'll hold this with the mohair. But this is 100% merino. It is a DK weight, and I do know that the color of this is Demi-Tasse. Okay, and I know that because it is, at least the information is still on the website. I don't think they have any more of this yarn left, but boy, it is beautiful. All right, and staying with the brown, this is one, I'm pretty sure that this is a merino silk. It could be a cashmere silk, but I'm pretty sure it's a merino silk. And this is one where they will have a small amount left. It could be 5 grams of yarn left. It could be 350 grams if it's at the end of a cone and they just want to sell it and get rid of it. They will discount it, and sometimes they're a pretty significant discount, like 40 or 50% off. And so when they do that, if there's a yarn that I specifically want to feel of before I pull the trigger, especially if they have more than one cone, because if they have more than one cone, which may be a different dye lot, they will have them listed in 2 separate listings. And so sometimes they'll just be out, they'll be almost out of this one big cone that they have, but they have plenty more on the other one, and I'll buy it to see what it feels like. And in this case, I knew that this would be enough to do a little bit of a contrast color for some kind of color work. So I just picked this up at, it was probably no more than like $5 or something whenever I grabbed it. And again, I'm not sure exactly what the mix of fibers are. That's the problem whenever they don't label them and stuff. And I've got to get better. I need to, whenever I order something from there, I need to write down somewhere, either in a file somewhere or mark it on here what it is. So I will get better at doing that. I didn't even think about it whenever I first started doing this because it didn't dawn on me that I wouldn't be able to get that information. Now this one, I do know what it is. And this one was kind of the gateway drug into these cone yarns for me as far as Deadstock. This is 100% cashmere, and I have a much larger one. I got scared that I didn't get enough, so I went ahead and grabbed another small bit. I think this is like 100 or 150 grams. It's not a whole lot. The other one I've got is like 400 and something. This is 100% cashmere. It is a DK weight. And oh my gosh, this is so soft, and it was incredibly reasonably priced. I don't want to say cheap because, you know, in my opinion, cheap would be a sweater for $20. It wasn't that. But it certainly was nowhere near what I would expect to pay for cashmere for a full sweater quantity of my size. I'm going to make a Valentina Bogdanova pattern out of this. And so this is just quietly waiting up on the shelf. And like I said, if you do watch my podcast, you've probably seen this behind me. It's just this beautiful, it's kind of a tealy color. It's not really showing up really well right now, but it is a teal color that leans a little bit more green than blue. Then I bought this to make the Staffen sweater. This is a red 100% merino, and I bought a lot. This is a worsted weight yarn, and I did buy quite a bit of yardage because I knew I wanted to make the Staffen, which is a textured pattern. Then I decided that I actually wanted to make the Staffen out of the Rama Feeble that it calls for in red still, but I decided to order that. So now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with this. And it is just stunning. I just make sweaters and garments and cardigans and stuff. So this will become one of those. I've got plenty of yardage on this. I don't know the color. I want to say it was probably lipstick red. I think I've got to pause. I think my dinner's here. Well, I was right. In fact, that was my dinner. So I did take a little bit of a break, and I got my dinner, and then I ate my dinner, and now I'm back to continue to talk about this red cone. And as I said, this is a 100% merino cone. It is a worsted weight. I think that the colorway was probably lipstick red. It may be a little bit different color. They typically list the Pantone colors, so I'm not sure what it was. But it is just really soft and really nice. And I've got plenty to do any sweater that I want to because I bought it for a textured sweater. So therefore, I have enough to do a textured sweater. And sorry, let me fix my hair here while it's all funky looking. But I've got enough. Maybe this will have to become a cabled sweater. I do not have a red cabled sweater. So we'll have to see about that. All right, keeping with merino, I have another one that for sure is 100% merino. This one's a sport weight though. And I'm not sure what the colorway is, but it's a really pretty, just kind of mid gray. And I was gonna use this for the Aiden test that I'm doing, but that is a really structured cable. And I just did not like the drapiness of the swatch that I did with this. It will make an absolutely beautiful sweater, maybe even a cable sweater, but a cable sweater that's more drapey and not quite as structured. So this one will become something, maybe a cardigan, maybe a pullover, but it definitely will be a garment. Then another one that is, I believe this one's probably a merino alpaca blend just based on the halo there and the feel of the yarn. I believe the colorway of this is marshmallow, and I will be holding it with the mohair. I got these to go together. And so that is what I will do. I will just hold them together, and they are going to be part of a color work sweater. I think it's going to be the rosy sweater, but I will not absolutely swear to that. Then I've got a couple more that are just little pieces. I think this one's probably a cashmere or a cashmere merino blend. It's super soft. This might have enough yardage on it to do, like if I wanted to just do like the edge around a cuff and a collar and the hem. There might be enough on there to do that. Maybe. Not positive that that would be enough. I really bought this just to see the color and to feel of it and see if I liked this blend. And, you know, we'll see. But I have very little of this. So right now it's just creating beauty on my shelf. I probably got that for like a couple of bucks. It wasn't expensive at all. And then another one, this is lace. And so actually, I don't know, this could be a full sweater quantity. You see how little that is. And I think that this is probably 100% cashmere. And I would have bought this to carry along with something else. So maybe that dark green Shetland that I showed you. Okay. All right, and then more of the merino blends, and then we will get to some summer yarns. So this one right here is a merino alpaca. I think it's called Royal Alpaca, and I do believe that it's a merino alpaca blend. It could be 100% alpaca, but I do not think it is. It is on my stash, and it does list what it is because I was able to look it up on the website. But it looks a little redder on camera than it is. It's a really pretty fuchsia color. And then keeping in that kind of fuchsia pinkish color, this is it's either cashmere silk or it's merino silk. I kind of think it's cashmere the more that I sit here and feel of this. It is so incredibly soft. So I do think that it's a cashmere silk. It could be a cashmere silk merino blend, but it is just a really beautiful pink, and again, a sweater quantity. And the same blend is in this, which is the absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful burgundy colorway. It is just stunning in real person. And this is where I wish that you could reach through and feel this. It is so incredibly soft. There is no question that there is silk in these because you can see from the sheen. Okay, but I'm not positive if it's just cashmere or if it's a cashmere wool blend. This one I'm pretty sure is a merino silk because it is not as soft as those. So I don't think that this has any cashmere in it. But it is just a stunning, stunning cobalt blue. It doesn't rise quite to the level of like electric blue, but it is just a really, really pretty royal blue. I may hold it with some mohair, but probably not because this color is just stunning on its own. All right, almost done, guys. Got a few summer yarns here, and then that will be it. Starting with the one that I just got, because I wanted to see what their cotton was like. They have a ton of cotton on their website. And so I just got one of these that was the end of a cone, and it's nice, it's cotton. I'm probably not ordering a bunch of cotton from them. It's going to be very, very splitty. I mean, I can already tell that it's not plied together very well. It's not something that I would probably order. So this will probably just sit and create beauty on the shelf and never ever be used. Probably got this for $1 or less because it is cotton and it's very little. Now, oh, I missed one. This is in fact not a summer one. This one also is either a cashmere or cashmere merino silk blend. It's either cashmere silk or cashmere merino silk. And this is a really, really beautiful red colorway. So it's along with these three are probably all the same blend. Now, switching back to summer yarns. This right here is 100% mulberry silk. And I got these. I was originally going to hold these double. I am still going to hold them double because they are lace weight. They're 1,000 yards per 100 grams. So I based this off of the Knitting for Olive, which is 500 per 100 grams because they're 250 per 50. So I knew if I held this double, that would give me 500 per 100. The math works. So it would be the same. So I thought, oh, well, I'll buy this and I'll make a cumulus tee out of it. Who knows? That still may be what it is. But I will be knitting a summer tee out of this and I will be holding them double. And all I did was I just asked, well, actually, I think that with this, I ordered 2 separate ones. Or maybe I asked them to split it. I don't remember. Now they've got, once they've updated their website, they have a way for you to say, hey, I want it split onto 2 cones. I either had to put a comment on there or I had to order it 2 separate ones. I just don't remember now. And then finally, I have some linens and some hemp. So I'm going to start with the linens because I've got a couple of those in different colors. These are the exact same blend. These are 100% linen. They are a fingering weight. One is this really, really pretty blue, and one is this pinky, purpley, mauve-y color that did not represent itself quite like this on the website, because this is not really one of my colors, but I do like it, so I will wind up making summer tops out of both of these, and they will be just like linen. I mean, they feel like linen. They're kind of crunchy. They're kind of, you know, not super soft, but they will get really, really soft as you wash them. And then finally, last but not least, is my hemp. And I have never worked with hemp before. It reminds me a lot of cotton. It's also known as or linen, I'm sorry. It reminds me a lot of linen. And I think linen is also known as flax, not the hemp. Anyway, I have no idea what this is gonna bloom like. All I did was I did cut a little bitty piece off, and you can see it's really thin. And I just put it in the water to see if I could figure it out. That is not how you figure out how it's gonna bloom. I need to actually do a small swatch and then put it in and block it and see what it's going to do, if it's going to actually, you know, bloom and fill in or not, or if it's going to be something that I have to do on super small needles. Either way, this is such a beautiful purple color that I will do whatever it takes to make it into a t-shirt. All right, so guys, that's my entire collection of Deadstock yarns. And next up for part 4, I will do Sandus Garn, and then we will see what comes after that. All right. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. Let me know if you're a fan of Deadstock yarns, if you have used them. If so, where do you buy them from? Which also reminds me that I said I was going to mention a couple of others that I knew about. I do know about, there's an I Do Knit. They are here in the United States, I believe. I've not ordered anything from them. There's some other ones in, like over in the UK. I don't remember the names of them right off. Inga from Knitting Traditions did a big podcast on her cones, and she covers a lot of the ones over in Europe, so you might go check that out. But if you go and look, Pure Light Fiber as well, who has a podcast on here, she has started sourcing Deadstock yarns, and she's done a lot of videos about Deadstock yarns, so you can get stuff from her. She is over in, she's either in Sweden or Switzerland, I believe. I won't swear to either one of those, so don't come at me. I've probably got it wrong, but she is over in Europe, and she has sourced some Deadstock yarns, and they seem to be fairly good prices. I haven't ordered anything from her yet either, but I have been stalking her website. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed hearing about all of my Deadstock yarns, and I would love it if you would share any experience you have with Deadstock yarns and where you source your Deadstock yarns from if you do, in fact, order them. Well, drop me a line. Let me know what you thought. And until I see you the next time, have a fantastically knitty week.